Hurry up, hurry up. Silence, nobody here. Is it up? Oh, here we are. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, gang. Willow, willow. Okay. As we mentioned yesterday, the first part of today's job is going to be noisy. Sorry. Who's that lady? It is chilly. I haven't put the heater on here. We'll put the heater on when we open the shop. But it's chilly. It's Tokyo. It's winter, December. Pretty much shortest day of the year coming up in a few days. It is chilly here. The chilliest person in the building actually is Cameron, up in his room on the back of the second floor, the room where I used to be carving last year. That's the only area of the building these days now that has no heater. The third floor, the printer's room, has a heater air conditioner. The shop is heated air conditioned. The old party room is. But that room back where Cameron sits is still undefended. Okay, what we've got, this is the block I've been working on off and on the last little while. This is the 6th block now on the Octopus print. There's 2 more to go. This is 6 out of 8, and this was for the yellow tone on the block, some kind of seaweed plant growth. And today we're going to clear it off. So the first 5-10 minutes are going to be noisy, and then it'll be quiet clearing work. We've got a tiny bit of show and tell, nothing really dramatic. A couple of things to show, a package of prints that came the other day, and an interesting magazine that we got. So no, nothing dramatic, but a little bit interesting. Excuse me. Okay, let's do some work here. My habit on these clearing, we've got with the grain and we've got cross grain. And my personal habit with this is I always clear across the grain first on the different masses and then clear along the grain. It's no special reason, just a personal preference. And it's sometimes dangerous when you've got little bits left over if you're not careful. If they're not really well marked, it's really easy to pop them off by mistake. So by doing this, this puts them in front of me and makes sure I know that they're there. This has been a nice piece of wood. It's been nice and hard. Registration mark, make sure I don't cut it off. You taking care of yourself over here? Sorry I can't be too communicative this morning, at least till I get this noisy stuff done. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just it'll be a while before I get this done, and then I can sit and watch your conversation and whatever. Gotta do what I gotta do. Still off the camera. Bench is moving very slightly, bit by bit. We might find getting to this point that the wood grain is different. This is a plank, and it's basically from the center of a tree. The wood grain pattern has gone like this. So somewhere, if we look inside, if we had a three-dimensional cross-section, so it would be perhaps pretty much on the center line of the tree. And then when you cut a plank, it's not always exactly vertical with what the tree was. Trees don't grow geometrically straight. Point being, sometimes you'll find the wood grain goes this way on this half of a block, and it may, we'll see in a few minutes, the wood grain may go the other way on the other half of the block, depending on how the angle of the piece of wood was on the actual physical tree. We'll see in a minute. let's switch out for now. Let's switch down. Okay, obviously what I've got to do is I've got to clear this island and this island. There's this island and this island, but for now we've roughly cleared this one. Let's clean up here quietly. Then when that's finished, back to the noise. It's just too much noise going constantly. It's not fair for a stream to have to do it that way. So let's switch up. I'll get back to the quiet work here. I need my number 1 12mm flat clearing chisel. And a couple of other smaller ones to go inside the other area. If there's anybody left here. How many carvers ended up deaf? It's not that bad, you know. I'm just hammering. You know, it's no worse than hammering anything. It's not a large proportion of the job. The amount of time I spend making noise like that is not anything dramatic. It's no more than a few minutes a day, you know. So I think there's no danger of damage to yourself from a little bit of hammering, I think. It's people using power tools be much worse off than me. It would be no fun to be somebody sitting nearby listening, but and the noise here at the moment too, it's magnified. We've got an empty, quite bright room, so the noise is louder than it should be. If this was a carver's workshop, we'd have it damped or something. The action here, it's like planing, you know, it's actually a chisel. If we just chiseled, it would chisel, but I'm holding it down. As I push, I'm holding it really tightly down with my finger. And when you're using a plane, that's what happens. A block of wood holds the blade down against the wood, and this is acting like a plane rather than a chisel. I'm shaving. If I didn't do that, the chisel would just cut down into the wood. Beautiful tool, really love it. It's the envy of all the other people in the shop here. They've already got all my printing tools. My barons and brushes are already dispersed among the staff. But, my carving tools are still untouched. then step by step move down to smaller tools. This one won't go in here. Let's just move down to a smaller scale. Okay, let's get in closer. Not quite sure about the question. Why carve away a pre-drawn part of the image? I'm not sure. What you're seeing here is the lines that are here on the block. These were not prepared for carving on this block. What you're seeing are lines transferred from the key block. A separate block here which has all the outlines. I carved that last year, printed that and transferred that here. So what you're seeing here are lines transferred from the key block. That gave me the information on where I needed to carve for this color block. So this is a color block, the information transferred from the key block. So this is unneeded for this block. On a different color block, this area, you can see it's an octopus. On a different color block that was the octopus skin, it would have been this area that was left and this area that would have been taken away. So the key block is transferred many times. It was transferred once here for this seaweed. It was transferred earlier for that octopus. It was transferred again for that black octopus eye. All the color blocks take their data from the key block. So what you're seeing me do here is take away parts that we no longer need for this particular color. Okay, now because I can't focus on one place, let me pull my tool back in here. Hang on a sec. Let's try and find the place to focus so you can see what I'm doing. Hang on a sec. It'll take me a minute to find the location here. Are we there? Not quite. Okay. And this is now stage 3. We've talked about this many, many times. Each of these blocks goes in 3 stages. The first stage, which you didn't see today, was cutting the outlines. Second stage, which you just saw me do, was clearing away most of the wide waste. And the third stage is combining those two, between the wide and the lines. And this finishes the block, leaving just the areas that will print. It's so cool to have people answering for me. Yes, it could be done without the scope. I don't need the scope for this at all. This is, of course, wide clearing. I'm keeping this so that I can keep it in the camera view. If I move like this, it's gone. So that the purpose of the scope at the moment is just to keep me under the camera. For carving like this, the scope is irrelevant, of course. My eyes are not that bad. They're bad, but not that bad. It's actually a bit clumsier with the scope right here because I can only see like 2 or 3 centimeters at a time, so I've got to keep shifting the wood around. So. It's on our list of things to do to get some kind of tracking. It's easily possible, I think, for someone to do what they were doing. We could have an infrared light or something shining on this block, or I could maybe put an X on my finger or something with some kind of paint, invisible paint or whatever, and an infrared light that would follow that X, and the camera would follow it, track it. So no matter where I went on the table, the camera would follow. I'm sure it would be possible to do, but just, you know, little irrelevancies like that get sidetracked from the work. So that would be cool, a camera that follows my hands. Or you could do it the other way. You could put something on my glasses, because my eyes are always looking at my hands here, so the camera could follow where my eyes were looking or something like that. I'm sure it would be easy to do. And I could just forget about it, you know. I had hoped by today to have some sample prints to show you, the first subscription print from next year, but the girls are still working through it. Ishikawa-san's here already, actually. It's Sunday morning. She came before this stream started. It's like 7:30 Sunday morning. She shows up for work. they're having fun with it. I don't know. I put that in quotation marks. In fact, it was interesting yesterday. Sugi-san went home not quite so happy on Friday. And she passed over the sample prints to Ishikawa-san, who took it over on Saturday to do her test printing on this thing. And neither of them were really happy about this. The print is not ready yet. We're still having, I can't say trouble, that's the wrong word. We're working on getting the color balances worked out. This is a difficult print. So they're still doing testing. I don't know how many sheets they've done so far, a couple of dozen sheets. They've tested and tried and tested and tried. And we look at each one, should be a bit darker there, a bit lighter here, let's use a bit more blue here, stuff like this. For me, this is the most fun part of the job. But for them, they were both getting sad about it. When she left here last night, she said, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I'm like, Ishikawa-san, what are you talking about? This is the most fun part of the job. Once it's decided, you're going to make 200 copies all the same. This is the part that allows you to have fun and try different things and explore. I try to emphasize to her, do you remember back when you were doing this as a hobby? You didn't know what you were doing, so for you, every single print you made was a stumbling forward experimentation. What am I going to do? And you had a ton of fun doing that. I told her, try and remember some of that feeling, that mood, and try and catch some of that same feeling here. Test printing is not a chore, and the more difficult it is, the more fun it is for you, Try and pick up your amateur status again, And she sort of listened and, okay. She didn't get it, And when she came in this morning, no happy face. She just thought, oh my God, here we go again. And upstairs she went. So, I don't know what to say. You can't change people's attitudes, She's doing a good job, and the print is going to turn out really nice. I think I can see the print in there. She can't really see it yet. All she can see is the problems. And that's something else too. When you're doing test printing, we sit down and she gives me the test, and I get my finger and I go, okay, look, okay, this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. I don't say it wrong. This, we have to make this more blue, this has to be deeper. So all we focus on is the problems. All we focus on is the things that are not right. And if you forget what you're doing, if you just don't, you know, if you forget if you forget the goal, then it's just negative, negative, negative. This was no good, try again, no good, try again, no good, try again. So you got to keep the right attitude, that this is the fun part, the exploration part, the fooling around part. But these two ladies can't seem to keep that attitude, you know. They both say, yeah, okay, I get it. But you don't, in their faces you can see you don't get it, you know. I think there's something pretty quite important there. That's one of the things that's kept me still interested in this after all these years. I've been doing this for whatever it is, I don't even know now, 40 years or something. And it's really still fun. And I think it's fun because, I don't know, maybe I'm still an amateur in that sense. Loving, you know, whatever, amateur. But they've let it get to them in a different way. It's not so good, so. Have to try and give them a pep talk again today. Is that my job, I guess? It's going to be nice though, you know. Hopefully it's going to be nice. It's not going to look exactly like Jed's Photoshop. I've been showing you the Photoshop version too much. And everybody's got that in their mind. That's what the print's going to look like. And it's not. This is a wood block print. It's not a clean and clear Photoshop click and paint. But it's going to look good. Was out of the shower by the time I showed up. Yeah, I was out of there first, yeah. It has almost happened, actually, so. Not very often, because she doesn't come this early that often. It's just when it's a real important job that we're running out of time for. But she wouldn't make trouble. If she heard the shower running, she'd hang around downstairs. You know. Too much potential trouble, of course. You know. Last night here in Osaka, oh my God, it was a Saturday night, of course, and this is Bonenkai season. In Japan here, there's a tradition, two traditions that overlap. Companies and groups and clubs and whatever, any kind of a group of people, whether it's a class or a club for doing something or a company group, they have to have a year-end party that's just built into the constitution of the country or something, I don't know, whatever. Called a bonenkai, and the literal translation is forget the year party. You know, forget the bad stuff and whatever and try and wipe the slate clean and whatever. And Asakusa is one of the main places for people to come and do this thing. So every bar, every restaurant around here for these next few weeks, till the end of the year, till almost the end of the year. It is jam-packed, and especially like Saturday night. And last night it was, my God. It starts, you know, not in the morning, but around noon or so, people start their get-togethers, and so all day long, the restaurants are full, and there's people staggering down the street and cheering and whatever. And they'll be at it today too. Today will be another big day. One reason why the sound here is so nice is because we've already carved the back of this block. This is the second face. The first side of this block is already carved, and it's got hollows in it. So the block has been thinned down, and it's like playing like a xylophone or something. You know, when a xylophone key, the wooden piece on a xylophone, part of the reason it makes good tone is because it's hollowed out at the back, and it has a sort of, it vibrates as a nice piece of dried wood. That's what you're hearing here to an extent. It's a beautiful piece of dried wood, and it's hollowed out on the back. You know. If it wasn't a plywood type, it would be even more resonant. This is really one of the most satisfying times in the job. The block is almost finished. It's making a nice tone. The wood is smooth. The smashing is done. This is one of the nicest parts for me. And then before the pigment goes on to mess it up, you know. Okay, I think the first part of this done. The first main island here is done. I think, oops, a bit too far. Let's have a look. So the top island here now is all cleared, ready to go. We keep about 2 or 3 fingers out, so when we're wrapping it won't bang onto this part. Okay, next will be this one. We'll be back to the persuader, but before we do, let's do that little bit of show and tell I was talking about. What time is it? 8:49. We're okay, about halfway through. When will the sprint be ready? I don't know. I don't know. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, let's have a look. We got a little bit of show and tell. A couple of things. I know a few weeks ago, a month or so ago, I know a request for an interview came from a woman who works for a very high-class magazine. There's a high-fashion magazine here in Japan called Kate Gaho. It's a household fashion and cooking and whatever magazine. Really high class. And I was surprised because she had come a year before to put us in their magazine, and we were in their autumn magazine a year ago. And the same woman came back with a different request, and I said, "Yes, sure, but you just did this. You're going to put us in again?" She says, "No. What happened this time is around? They were called by the government, the prefectural government, the Tokyo Prefectural Government Office. They have something called the Tokyo Convention and Visitors Bureau. They do pamphlets and guidebooks and whatever for blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Tokyo, there's a huge promotion, and you can get the idea by this. There's an old calligraphy thing here and a new clean Tokyo. And they've got something they call new old, or old new, whatever, old new Tokyo. It's some sort of campaign that they've been running on for a couple of years. And they've got pamphlets and guidebooks and websites and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, one of the things as part of that promotion campaign was something they were planning called Tokyo Timeless Temptations. Anyway, long story short, she wanted to come here and shoot us. I know this is not a guidebook to shopping and stuff. Go to Mokohankan and buy woodblock prints. What it is, and this is interesting, this is out of my class completely. It's a pamphlet that is going to be left in high-class hotels. This goes in the Peninsula and the Meridian and the Conrad Hilton and whatever. It'll be left, one copy will be left in each room for the next half a year for the visitors to have a look at. And I will never be in such a place in my life, but they've put us in here. And there's the letter saying thank you. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing at this point, but a couple of things just will. It's exploring Tokyo, blah, 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 blah. And here's the kind of example. This is not my place at all. Can you see some of these pictures? It's the kind of place where they've got an office in the lobby of the hotel where when you're stressed out after a day, you can come and sit at this table and the young lady here will make tea for you. And, you know, the rooms look like this. And, oh, my God, and there's a pool in your bedroom and whatever. And look at this. This is one. Are we in here? This is advertising different kinds of restaurants. What's the restaurant here? Feast on Tokyo's myriad dining options, culinary aesthetics admired worldwide. And there's a restaurant here where they're featuring, and the restaurant has one table. And they take 2 reservations per day, one for lunch and one for dinner. And one guy is all you see. There's no waitresses, there's no waiters, there's no cashiers, there's no nothing. There's one guy. He meets you at the door. You sit down. He makes you some tea, and then he says, "Please wait." And he goes and does the dinner thing and brings them back. So it's one man running the whole show. And he's, I guess, a famous super chef, whatever. And they seat 4 people for lunch and 4 people for dinner, and that's all they do. I will never in my life be in such a place. Anyway, you see what we're going with this. I need to zoom out a bit more, I guess. So anyway, the magazine goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. And there's another restaurant here. It's a chef and a seat. And that's it. One chef and one seat. And if you have to ask how much it costs, it's not for you. Okay, where we're going with this is, move on. They have sample itinerary for 2. Discover traditions recalling the Edo days. Day 1, you get in a limousine, run around. Day 2, you go to the sumo training. And here we are. Day 5, can you see this? Are you here? Here we are. Day 5, you go to this little place called Mokohankan, and you make your woodblock print, and then you do shopping and you go home. We're in here. There's a special page listing cultural experiences, and one of them is a limousine service, one of them is appreciate autumn leaves, and one of them is try your hand at printing ukiyo-e. So long story short, the woman, she really appreciated us. She liked what we were doing when she was here doing a story on us for her magazine a while ago. And I guess cooperation with the metropolitan government, they've tried to find things that blend old and new, old and new. And that's the whole key to this. All these things I've showed you right now are places that are doing this. It's not just the old traditional thing, it's people that are doing something old and traditional, but with a modern, upgraded twist on this. Not a twist, a real, whatever, a living experience that does the old things, So anyway, so we're in there. Whether it will bring people here or not, I'm not sure. And I have to say there's a little thing that's bugging me about this, because we have a certain experience here. Most of the people who come here for our print parties, they book through our website. Bang. They book on the website, bing, they show up for a print party, they go. And to a large extent, most people that come here are, whatever, normal, middle-class people, whatever, typical family or typical young people. Every now and then, we're here busy and we get a phone call. Phone call comes in, and it's the concierge at the name brand top level hotel. And the concierge says, we've got somebody, one of their guests wants to know, can they do a print party? Can we do it like in the next 15 minutes? Or can we do it tomorrow at their special time, whatever. Whatever, we have the conversation, we fit them in. If there's a reservation available, so we good. Okay, all signed, sealed, okay, they'll be there, 2:30 tomorrow, bang. This has happened, I don't know, I don't keep track, 10, 20 times over the past 4 years. Almost never do they show up. We've learned when we get a reservation from a concierge at the Meridian Hotel, we write it down, and we've learned. Don't get excited because they don't show up. It's something to do with people like that. I don't know, whatever. I can't. I don't know. I have no such experience, whatever. But it seems that they treat some things fairly lightly, and we've learned. And we're almost ready now. I've told the staff, anytime you get a call like this, refer to me. And from now on, we're going to tell these people, I'm not sure. Okay, that's one thing. That was just fun. That was just fun. The other one is actually some real show and tell. Who's the most famous person you've seen in your shop? NDA. This is a set of prints, woodblock prints. Came in last week, and this is fun. This is fun. In fact, before I can show you, I've got to go get something else. Hang on a sec. It was on, we got this through Yahoo auctions. This isn't through one of the dealer auctions we attend. This was a Yahoo auction deal. This was a simple Yahoo auction deal. It was a simple little packet of prints. Went up. They didn't describe it well. It was Trump. You've got I'd close the doors before doing that. Anyway, whatever. It wasn't described well because the guy that had it thought it was printed postcards. So it was described as postcards or something, whatever. Anyway, I knew what it was because I'd seen this sort of thing before. So I was able to bid for it, got it really, really cheap. And it's funny, the cover is it's a little package here. It's an envelope with stuff inside. And the cover is a woodblock print. And yet there's typing. And this is actually typed in a typewriter. So this little woodblock print was rolled into a typewriter. Tick, 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 tick. And they typed the cover on. And what does that mean? Reprint of masterpieces of painting and creative woodcut prints. And one set, and it's priced at 12.6. If you got anybody from Britain, you know what that means. It's 12 and 6, 12 shillings and sixpence going back in the days when I was a little kid. So this is some kind of package of prints. It was made in Japan, and that was, my guess is, packaged in bulk and sold export to people in London or whatever. And this is modern. The Fuji designer is modern. There's a name which all of us here have tried to read, and we cannot for the life of us read it. Shukpan is the last, so publishing is the last two characters, but the first, we just can't. It's too blurred. It's something, it looks like Osaka, Tokyo, something we can't even figure out Shukpan. And none of us knows, we've never heard of this company, but whatever. Yeah, the booking, payment in advance. Now we're thinking about switching to a payment in advance system, but the problem is for our booking system is a huge number of our bookings are made like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance. We've got bookings already for October for next year for the Rugby World Cup. And people don't know exactly what time. They know they want to come here, but they don't know what time. So taking payment in advance, we're going to end up refunding more of it. I don't know. We're going to try and find that balance. Anyway. Opening this package. There's not a single word of Japanese in here. It's a little envelope with a little English language explanation. And they don't use the word ukiyo-e. And what they've done is instead of using the word ukiyo, they've translated it as genre painting. And ukiyo-e is, it could be picture, it could be painting or printing. So ukiyo-e and woodblock prints. And they've tried to do some little explanation without using the word ukiyo-e. The greater part of the genre painting has been made print, hand printing. Its art value was higher than that of the autograph and was enhanced as it went through editions. It's not something that really makes much sense at all. Anyway, they are all woodblock prints, and it's funny. They're numbered. Let me get to go in the right order here. They're numbered 1 to 12. And when we first opened it, when I first saw this, this is a Kyoto scene, and it's printed with opaque pigments. The key block is almost blurred out in some places because the pigments are opaque. So I thought, okay, this is a Kyoto workshop that made this. No problem. It's a little bit of a scenery. I think that's, is that Heian Shrine in Kyoto? I'm not really quite sure. Whatever. That's number 1. So, okay, no problem. A typical package of woodblock prints of a type common in Kyoto. You can buy this sort of stuff today down there in Kyoto. This is not rare or unusual at all. These are kind of old. They're clearly pre-war, very, very thin paper. Number 2, also, this is another Kyoto scene. It's a very stamp. So by the time I get here, okay, I know what's going on here. We've seen these before. It's nice, no special interest. This is the Byodo down in Kyoto, in Nara, I think. And then a little genre thing. Whatever. And again, this is Kyoto style. They're opaque pigments. It's a sort of imitation of a painting. And then we get to number 5, and whoops, wait a minute. I've seen this before. This is a design by the person we know as Takahashi Shote. And it's been adapted and chopped in woodblock style. So somebody has pulled off a Takahashi Shote print. And then, oh, there's another one. This is another Shote print, number 4, number 5. And then we turn the page and number 7. And wait a minute. I have seen this before. This is a Tsuchiya Koitsu design. And it was published in the 1930s, was it 1920s, 1930s, by the Doi Hanga Company. And we have, in this building upstairs, as I speak, we have the original block set for the Doi Hanga Company Benkei Bashi picture. And we are using that to make prints from, and we are publishing it here. And it's got a rakkan and a Doi Hanga Tsuchiya Koitsu. And that's the authentic Doi edition from the Doi woodblocks. And yet, does this look a little bit familiar? It looks a little bit familiar. It's not the same lines. It's been recarved. The water ripples are different. The water ripples are different. The tree leaves are different. They've left out a tree on this one, but the other tree is pretty much, it's the same thing. This is a ripoff. Somebody has looked at this thing, made a sketch similar to the same, cut a set of blocks and published it. As far as we know, this is a pirated edition of the Doi design. That was number 7. We move on to number 8, which is also a Doi print, which I don't have the original for. And we move on to number 9, which is another Doi print, which Udei-chan is printing upstairs this week because we're running out of them. The blocks are here in this building, and here we go. There's the original Doi print with 2 ladies, and this is, I don't know, what is it? It's Zozoji Temple, and they've taken one of the ladies away, but other than that, it's the same print. So far so good. We think we know what this is. This is just, what you call it, a pirated edition, a bootleg. To use that word for prints, I don't know, whatever it is. It's a pirated edition. But, we then, when we're looking at this, I'm showing one of the printers how thin the paper is, and we lift it up, and whoops, it turns out that underneath the print here, now I'm not, see if I can show you on the camera here. Can I get this into the camera? Hang on a second, give me a minute to figure this out. Here we are. Can you see that? What does it say? With kind something and best wishes for a Merry Christmas with a Happy New Year. Is the pieces, the sheets. And we have some of those here in our collection. They're over in Ome. They are some Doi woodblock prints cut in very small sizes. And we've got them. The print is pasted on the left-hand side of a piece of paper. On the right-hand side, it says in that Gothic script, best wishes, Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Those are authentic Doi editions. This thing, which we think is a rip-off of the Doi company stuff, uses Doi Hanga paper. The paper that they use for their New Year cards, and yet it was repurposed for this thing. So now we have no idea what we are faced with. The prints themselves look like unauthorized knockoffs of Doi editions. But the paper they are pasted on is letter perfect identical to Doi Hanga Christmas cards. I don't know. The Kozu-san, the guy who is the husband of the granddaughter of the Doi Hanga company, the one who owns the blocks that we're printing from, he was here last Monday and we showed this to him. And he's just like, search me. I mean, this is pre-war. He doesn't have any knowledge of something like this at all. So there's two things. It could be a company who has ripped their stuff off completely, or it could be the Doi company themselves. They've got a bunch of stuff left over. At some point, they wanted a different version of this. They recut the blocks for a different design. And it doesn't have the designer's name or their seal. And maybe at this point, they're paying a royalty to Koitsu for doing these, and they do the knockoff without his signature and no royalty. It's one possibility. Another one, it's different people. They've just knocked it off completely. And we do this now too. On the wall over there, I've got a knockoff of a Hasui print. Copyright has expired. It's totally okay. I'm not being a bad pirate by doing that. It's public domain material. We carve it, we print it. But back in these days, this was not public domain material. This was a specific design by a specific designer, published by a known company. So I don't know. We don't know what we've got, and there's no way I guess we'll ever find out. There's also some classical. They've done reproductions of a Hiroshige design from the 60 Provinces series. And this is detailed work. Holy crap, that's detailed work. This is a postcard-sized print, you know. Look at the size of my finger. Look at those guys. We've got little men and lettering and fish all carved within the size of my finger. And as far, I didn't check every one of all the cards, but it seems they're all pasted on the same paper. Yeah. And actually some of them use a different greeting. They're all from greeting cards, but some of them have different lettering. Some of them just says Merry Christmas, some of them say Happy New Year. This is a little bit clumsily done. It's nice, but it's not perfect. Look at this. Again, we've got a human head with hairs all carved within the space of my index finger. Carved and printed by hand. So it's a mix. It's a mix of traditional ukiyo-e. There's 1, 2, 3 traditional ukiyo-e prints. There's 1, 2, 3 rip-offs from Tsuchiya Koitsu. There's 2 from Shote, rip-offs of Takahashi Shote. And these 4, maybe then, I don't know, because I don't know the originals, maybe these 4 are rip-offs of some kind of standard Kyoto tourist work that I don't know. Haven't come across those. Anyway, good fun, good fun. It cost me, I think, 1,200 yen. I don't know, we're not going to be selling these, so don't ask. They're going to go in our collection. And maybe, if I can confirm that we're free of copyright or something, we might use one of these. This maple leaf one, you know, that would be a nice print to have in our collection, I think. I can't just go ahead and recarve it and put it into our shop without knowing anything about the designer, because there are, you know, we do have to think about copyright and stuff like that. Although I suspect because it's this old, it's almost certainly copyright. Okay, there we go. Nice little item. And it all sold for 12 and 6. So somewhere in desk drawers over in England, these were sold, I presume, 12 and 6 must indicate English currency. So in desk drawers here and there in Britain, there must be a bunch of these folders still sitting there. Would they have been used as greeting cards? I don't think so, because the greeting part of that, the Merry Christmas, was hidden. Okay, fun. Thank you. Okay, enough for the quiet stuff, and now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some noise again. It's 9:10, so for the next 10-15 minutes till we're out of here, I'm going to get my persuader out again. Excuse me. Is 12 and 6 about the same as what you just paid for it? I think I paid 1,200 yen. I'm not sure. I don't have my browser window open. Let's hang on a sec. I mean, anyway, how do you compare old currency with modern, modern currency here? Where is it? Hang on. Where's a set of 12 prints? I don't know where it is. Ah, here we are. 2,500 yen. So 2,500 yen. So that's about the $20 US right now. So I think a pretty good bargain for me. I'm happy with that. So I've got no idea what 12 and 6 means. 12 shillings and 6 pence. So what were they? There were 20 shillings in a pound. So this is something over half a pound, but I've got no idea what that means. I'm sorry. All right, back to it. Okay guys, back to noise making. Is this backwards? What were we? We were going that way on the top half, now we're coming this way. Now it is backwards grain on the bottom of this block. Oh, there's the ring again. Here's a noise. It must be maybe this Kawaii-san coming. Kozumi-san coming. We're almost at the end, are we? 9:20. Today in the shop, it's going to be 3 boys. It's going to be me, Kawaii-san, and Koizumi-san. How do I keep the edges so clean? How do I keep the edges so clean? I'm not sure what you mean here. How do I keep the edges so clean? Visible? Visible, I guess, right? This is the registration mark. I'm going to make sure I don't cut this off. Okay, what's the schedule on? Today's Sunday, eh? Should we sort that out? Today's Sunday. Tomorrow morning there will be a stream. And it could be one of two things. I won't be here doing this because this will be finished in a few minutes and I don't have the piece of wood ready for the next face, block number 7. That's out in Ome. I got to go and get it in Ome. So tomorrow's stream will be, I think it'll be up on the 3rd floor. And I don't think it'll be sizing. Sizing, I've got a huge ton of sizing to do. That's going to probably be what Tuesday will be. But not Tuesday stream. I don't know. Kawai-san, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's boys' day today. Me and Kawai-san and Koizumi-san. So party.
2件10時と2時半かな。はい。
So tomorrow's stream will be up on the 3rd floor, but not sizing. We'll be in the front room, the one that overlooks the main street. What will I be doing? And these chisels save so much time, you know. When I think back to when I was working in Canada before I came to Japan, you know, I didn't have big chisels. I didn't know about them. I didn't think about them. So I did all the clearing with the small stuff. It was insane. Stupid behavior. Okay, I think we are done today. Zoom out. So you can see what we've done. We got this block that needed clearing. And if I hadn't spent that time doing show and tell, we would have finished. So it's an interesting point here. I don't know how many hours. I didn't keep track. I did the cutting work first with a knife. That took, whatever, 2 streams, so maybe 3 hours altogether or something like that. Then the clearing work here, it could have all been done on this single stream if I hadn't fooled around with it. So the clearing work is another hour and a half or so. So a block like this is not even a day's work in real life for a real carver doing his job normally without interruptions and doing other stuff. One of these color blocks for this Octopus print is not even a day's work. So the key block itself would have taken, I don't know, a week or 10 days. I can't give you an exact quote. Then you start doing your transfers, the 7 color blocks, another week. So whatever, 2 weeks work maybe. If I had just been doing this job to create this print from scratch. A couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, including the tracing time, I don't know, who knows, whatever. So this idea that this print has taken years and years for me to make is a really misleading, and I'm really sad about that. Because people get the impression, the overall impression that this work is extremely time consuming, and oh my God, it takes such a long time to do this. It's not. It's actually hugely efficient. And that's the part that I really can't show you this because it's all happening so mixed up and whatever. So it's 2 years. When did I start this, right? This is 2018, summer 2016? I don't know. I don't remember. And I'm really sad about that people get the wrong impression because this is super cool, efficient, fabulous work. Start your project, cut, bang, 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 print, bang, out goes the prints. It's an efficient printing business. Anyway, I'm rambling. Okay, tomorrow. There will be a stream tomorrow upstairs on the 3rd floor. I got some printing work to do, I think. I'm the one assigned to do that job. We'll be up there. Tuesday will be off. Absolutely. I won't be streaming. I got a ton of work to do, but it won't be streaming work. And then from there, I can't see that far. And heads up, towards the end of the year, there will be a bunch of days off for this stream. I can tell you right now, January 1, 2, 3, there will be no stream at all. This place is shut tight, January 1, 2, 3. But then also, in the last week of December also, the shop is extremely busy. We have very few staff. They're off on holidays. So there will be announced holidays for this stream towards the end of December as well. Anyway, for now, that's it. Thanks very much for coming along. Signing off. I'll see you again tomorrow upstairs. Thanks very much, guys. Step 1, camera off. This might be on their website, actually. I don't know. I didn't think about that. Should we zoom in? You can see the website. Is that enough information? Have you got it there? www.gotokyo.org, and it's not a secure website. Anyway, give it a try. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. In